We've done a lot of on these trips. We've blown a lot of stuff up. I've ran a lot of different equipment. I don't think anything compares to this.
Parker Schnabel made another bold decision, this time by investing in an old and historic gold mine in Bolivia. This is the same place where many people had tried their luck before. But the result that Parker got was no less than a jackpot. This mine gave Parker and his team a return of not millions of dollars, but millions, and that too despite dangerous terrain and tough conditions. This project was not just about money, but a vision to explore new opportunities and take gold mining to a new level. In the next video, we will see how Parker cracked the deal, what challenges he faced on the ground, and how he turned a historical mine into a profitable venture. If you like such real mining stories, do subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single update. The first thing that comes to mind when we hear the name of Bolivia is the vast treasure hidden beneath its mountains, a storehouse of gold, silver, and other precious metals. Parker Schnabel had understood this, and therefore his next step was to reach a mine in Bolivia whose history was as old as its potential was deep. Parker took further steps to Bolivia via Peru, but the path was not easy. The vehicle hired by their team broke down midway through the journey, and they were forced to leave the vehicle near the Peru border and complete the rest of the journey on foot. They were faced with a 160-yard stretch of land known as No Man's Land. Neither Peru nor Bolivia, a lonely and unknown area that was not easy to cross. As they got closer to the border, the team felt a bit tense along with excitement. As soon as they crossed the border, a trusted local contact arranged a new vehicle for them, so the journey could proceed immediately. The challenges of Peru were enormous, but they made Parker understand the value of the mining ecosystem there. Parker believed Bolivia held an even bigger opportunity, a chance that could change the course of his entire expedition. If any region is considered the most untapped and promising on the mining map of South America, it is the mineral belt near the Andes, where old veins of gold are hidden from Peru to Bolivia. Parker's team recorded some strong gold signals while tracking this belt in a small village in Peru called Lincolnada. The same signals took them across the border of Bolivia to another small place, Puo. This village is not very famous, but beneath it lie the same quartz veins that once made Lincolnada a gold hotspot. To get there, they had to cross the Altiplano Plateau, a region that lies within one of the world's highest and sunniest plateaus. The journey was not easy. The cold air of the Altiplano, the open sky, and the silence as far as the eye could see, everything was a different experience. But that area was a natural signal for gold miners like Parker, where mining had not yet been done properly. Even though they didn't have exact coordinates, their plan was simple: explore as many mining regions as you can, because sometimes the greatest things are found where no one is visible. There was once such a place that was forgotten with time, but its history tells us that in the 19th century, when Bolivia was one of South America's top gold producers, people tried their luck here too. Due to lack of infrastructure and tough conditions, mining never developed much here, but the potential was still alive. Gold treasures have drawn people to Latin America for centuries. This is the same land where thousands of people have risked their lives to find gold in the past. And now, Parker is on the same mission. In this remote region of Bolivia, where infrastructure is scarce and risk is high, Parker knew that the path he had chosen, without any guarantee, could backfire. But the potential of the historic location did not deter him. He and Diego decided to break away from the team and contact local people directly. Because real information always comes from being on the ground, not from maps or drones. They spoke to a local man, hoping he might be able to give them some valuable hints. During the conversation, the man offered some interesting insights. He also told them how Spanish people, known as Conquistadors, had been here before, looking for gold. These people, soldiers and explorers from 16th century Spain, were on a mission to expand their wealth and empire. Their focus was not just on metals, they also took over all the local communities that came in their way. Names like Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro are still found in history books because it was their campaigns that destroyed great societies like the Aztecs and Inca and created wealth for the Spanish crown. And during this time, a legend was also taking birth in the areas within South America, the story of El Dorado, where people believed that an entire city full of gold was hidden. Unless you go on the ground, mining is just a plan on paper. Parker knew that he would never get the real picture without talking to the local people. That's why he started contacting people directly along with Diego. They met an elderly man who had been living in the area for quite some time. During the conversation, they found out that he himself was mining gold on a small scale. His face was not saying much, but every answer came after thinking carefully, as if there was a whole experience hidden behind every word. Parker casually asked, "Is there any place nearby where work is still going on?" But the man neither said yes nor no. He just smiled. It was clear that some things are not easily found here. This is an unheard truth of the mining world. Where money is hidden in the soil, everything has a price, including information. Parker saw how people sat with water in the small streams nearby. These signals were not new to him. Where small streams bring small pieces of gold, there can be something big up there in the mountains. But only the experienced can understand this. Without making much noise, Parker picked up the soil there, spread the water, and observed. Every tiny particle was telling something, whether the result was achieved or not. Because this work requires patience, and every step takes you either closer to success or to a new question. When digging for the first time in a new area, everything is understood by the quality of the soil. Parker knew that soil texture, moisture, and color could tell a lot, and the soil he picked up was quite different from what he had expected. The ground was soft, slimy, and slimy. Parker immediately realized that finding gold there might be difficult. He had learned from experience that excessively muddy ground often indicated areas where deposits were weak or scattered. They filtered the soil with the help of water, but the result was as dull as their water. "It's just a peeled stone," Parker said coldly. There was hopelessness in his voice, but not surprise, because this is the kind of work in which you don't hit the jackpot every day. When nothing came, even after working so hard, the team started to show some fatigue and frustration. But Parker did not give up. He looked around and saw a woman whose clothing and covered hand indicated that she was probably local. "Let's talk to him. Maybe we'll find out something," Parker said. This small effort was going to change his fortune. A little while later, he met a local gold miner who was really active in the area. Without hesitation, the man pulled out a small nugget from his pocket and showed it to the team. Parker's eyes lit up. "Seriously? Where did you get it from?" he asked in surprise. It was a small piece of gold, but it was enough for such a big confirmation. This was proof that their location was correct. They had just reached the right spot. Then the man told us one more thing, that he had made good findings elsewhere, across the river, at a place people call Golden Eagle. Without wasting any time, Parker asked him for more details about the exact location. Gold mining in Alaska is not just a business, it's a way of life. For those living in cold winds and harsh terrain, the soil here is not just land, it's a heritage. Parker Schnabel grew up in that environment. where particles of gold swirled in pan trays before his eyes since childhood. Haynes, his childhood in Alaska, was as if he had been enrolled in a real-life school of mining. His grandfather, John Schnabel, was a respected and experienced miner, whose Big Nugget mine was a well-known name in the region. Parker spent most of his time in the mine, where he learned and executed every process, whether it was panning, sluicing, or operating heavy machinery, by himself. This hands-on training was more valuable than any textbook. Parker began to understand that mining was not just about extracting gold, but managing an entire system, planning, manpower management, risk handling, and machinery maintenance, all of which had to be handled by one person. This groundwork made Parker so confident that at the age of just 16, he took charge of the Big Nugget mine. At that time, the mining season and school dates were clashing, and as he himself said, "My parents were not very happy." But he had made a decision to focus completely on mining. He invested the entire team's previous year's earnings in this new season, without any guarantee. For him, this was not a business. It was a test, to see if he could really do something on his own. Running a mine is not just about digging the ground. It involves budgeting, team coordination, equipment availability, and timely decision-making. He did all this himself, without any shortcuts. While most people are busy preparing for college, Parker Schnabel chose a different path. He invested his entire college fund in the mining season, without any safety net. This decision was not easy, but it showed that if the intentions are strong, taking risks also becomes a strategy. In his first independent season, his team mined almost 1,000 ounces of gold. Its financial return was around $55,000, which is considered a very big number for a newcomer. This first season itself was enough to show people that Parker has not only knowledge, but also the ability to execute. This impact captured the attention of Discovery Channel producers, and then Parker's journey was revealed to the world through the show Gold Rush. After appearing on the reality show, Parker became known not just as a new miner, but as a young mining leader. His dedication to work, focus, and decision-making made him one of the show's most prominent faces. With each season of the show, Parker only matured more. His team grew bigger. His goals became tougher. Where people are often happy with a few hundred ounces, Parker never wanted to stop. Every time his target was thousands of ounces, and many times he achieved it. His competitive mindset set new standards every day. Mining was not just a job for him, it was a mission where hard work, planning, and leadership were tested every day. Working in the Klondike region of the Yukon is no easy task for any miner. The area has been famous for mining for centuries, but the terrain, weather, and lack of infrastructure make it even more challenging. When Parker Schnabel spent one of his mining seasons there, he saw the true nature of these challenges. Machinery repeatedly failed, some key equipment did not arrive on time, and it was becoming increasingly difficult to find high-quality pay dirt at his site. This is the same Klondike where people went crazy after gold was discovered near Bonanza Creek in 1896. Towns like Dawson City sprang up during this gold rush, and within a few years the whole region became a mining hotspot. But by 1900, the easy-to-find gold deposits were running out, and mining became increasingly difficult. For Parker, the job here was not just a technical mission, it was a personal test. Managing a team in a remote location, dealing with daily breakdowns, and searching for new patches, all of this was a collective source of stress. There came a moment when he asked himself, is it all worth it? The real face of mining is when difficulties arise and a decision has to be made whether to stop or move forward. Parker did what a leader does, faced every situation, and learned that without planning, a place like the Klondike becomes just a gamble. Gold mining has been going on in South America for quite some time, but not every region is the same. Guyana, which is geographically part of the Amazon belt, is promising for mining, but equally demanding. Parker Schnabel realized this a few days ago when he set up shop there. There was gold under the ground, but getting to it wasn't easy. The jungle was so hot that machines frequently overheated. High humidity damaged equipment, and rains turned the path into literal mud. There were roadblocks everywhere, whether it was nature or local rules and permissions. Every day there was a new problem. Sometimes the machine would stop. Sometimes the team would get stuck. And sometimes the paperwork would get stuck. A small stream appears to be coming out in which gravel is found. That reminds us why we came here, Parker once said. But he also admitted, it seems practically impossible to set up mining here properly. Even after so much hard work, when the team did the final checks, the result was nothing special. They did not get any gold. The outcome of the entire mission was disappointing. But for Parker, this was not a failure. It was a lesson. He understood that not only resources but adaptability is also required everywhere. Mining does not only give metals, but also experience, which makes you stronger for the next step. Delivering consistent results in the mining industry is as difficult as finding gold the first time around. But for Parker Schnabel, the Yukon proved to be a region where his hard work paid off time and again. After Guyana's challenges, the Yukon gave him both stability and scale. Yukon is considered one of the world's richest gold-producing regions. And it was here that Parker took his mining career to the next level. In one season, he extracted nearly 6,000 ounces of gold, generating multi-million-dollar revenues. The result wasn't just money. It was the direct output of his strategy, planning, and team management. This success not only strengthened his name, but also created a strong financial base for his future ventures. Parker has one quality that sets him apart from other miners: his relentless effort and discipline. He doesn't just operate the machines, he leads the entire team like a mission. Long hours, tight targets, and performance pressure. All of this is a normal part of his camp. His thinking is simple. If you are willing to take risks and have the passion to work hard, success is unstoppable. But he is not just limited to gold. For him, mining is a business. Investment, budgeting, cost-cutting, and exploring new sites. It's all part of Parker's daily work. That's why, despite being a reality TV star, he hits the field like a ground-level miner every season. In the history of gold mining, different countries in the world bring their own unique stories, and Australia is one of them. The discovery of gold here in the mid-19th century transformed the country's economic landscape. When Parker Schnabel began expanding its mining operations in Australia, its goal was similar: to explore new opportunities and reap benefits from them. Both the past and the present-day mining ecosystems intertwined with Australia's gold history have proven valuable to Parker. The expansion was not just a business decision, but part of its global mining vision. In addition, Parker also started another project of his own, Parker's Trail. This is a spin-off series that shows his adventurous journeys away from his normal mining routine. In the series, Parker walks on the paths where the earlier gold miners tried their luck, and by walking on those footsteps, he tries to understand what their journey was like. A memorable part of this series was the expedition of the Klondike Trail, a path located in Yukon, Canada, where thousands of people staked everything in search of gold during the 19th century. For Parker, it wasn't just a shooting assignment. Working amid cold tapmen, high living conditions, and limited resources. He faced everything the original stampeders did. His team worked in similar tough conditions, but Parker's leadership and dedication helped them finish the journey. For Parker, it wasn't just about the gold. It was a way of understanding and respecting the stories written in the mining world. Australia's economic landscape changed in the mid-19th century when gold began to be found in different parts of the country. But gold had been mentioned here even before that. British settlers claimed to have seen gold in New South Wales in the 1790s. However, the real gold rush began when Edward Hargreaves officially announced the discovery of gold near Bathurst in 1851. This discovery shook the entire country. In a short time, thousands of people set out towards the new gold fields. Mining camps, new villages, and small townships began to spring up rapidly. Gold was found elsewhere during the 1850s, particularly in the state of Victoria. Regions such as Ballarat and Bendigo became so popular that they transformed Australia's social and economic structure. But every gold rush is accompanied by tension. In 1854, the Eureka Rebellion took place in Ballarat, a moment when miners rose up against expensive license fees and unfair rules. The protest not only forced changes to mining laws, but also opened a new chapter in colonial politics. Today, many years later, Parker Schnabel is facing a different kind of challenge when working in Australia. The terrain, rules, and way of working are all different than in Yukon. But Parker's approach is clear. It wants to diversify its mining operations. By working in a new region like Australia, it is developing not just gold, but also a long-term global mining strategy. Gold mining today is not just a traditional job, it has become a high-tech industry. New environmental regulations, automation tools, and eco-friendly processes around the world are constantly changing this field. For miners like Parker Schnabel, who are involved at every stage from ground level to strategic planning, this evolution becomes even more important. Parker has adopted new technologies at every stage of his career, whether it's laser-based scanning, high-efficiency trommels, or smart water recycling systems. His focus is not just on production, but on responsible production. While working in new regions like Australia and Bolivia, Parker has also come to understand that each region has its own local ecological challenges. Concerns like soil erosion, water usage, and chemical runoff are no longer just a government issue, but a personal responsibility of miners. Even a small detail sometimes reveals the true state of the system. This run was mostly ditches, wasn't it? Yeah, bro. A casual conversation, but the ground truth is hidden behind it. Making the most environmentally friendly mining possible while making mining economically feasible. Parker's goal is to create this balance between minimizing environmental damage and being economically feasible, which is the hallmark of today's New Age miner. His Bolivia expedition was also a part of this thinking, where he tried to act responsibly. If you liked Parker's realistic and challenging journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you stay connected with the real stories behind the mining curto.